you have a hot take maybe?
My hot take? Well, I think some artists need to put a little more energy in their live set.
Overly complicated tracks are things that kind of ruin a track to me. Don't stick to any kind of genre label.
Future bass is the worst music genre ever created.
Barber Beats was the original vaporwave. Fuck General MIDI Choir. It's all bad.
Bruh.
Worst album artwork I've ever seen is Green Day's Father of All Motherfuckers, probably.
I find new music often, and I usually illegally download it.
Stuff that sounds good. Sampleless vaporwave is still vaporwave, buddy. MIDI wave is a form of vaporwave. Deal with it. Gen Z's the future of vaporwave. I said it.
What is your musical guilty pleasure, Vape Bearer?
It's gotta be K-pop.
If you don't like mint chocolate chip ice cream, you are a baby.
Music isn't real. I smell weed. I'm Dan Mason. This is Vape Eric. This is FM Skyline.
This is Mesh.
Yo, this is Groovy Kaiju.
This is Christ, and you're listening to
Hot Takes.
That's the one.
Don't touch my records. Ever.
So, I'm going to go ahead and start the night with a couple recommendations. If you don't already know me, I'm Young Shiro, Vaporwave DJ, curator, promoter, networker, friend of many, enemy of a few, but hopefully we'll keep that to like one hand. I got a few recommendations for you guys tonight. I've been on a serious not sample hunt, but like crate digging binge. And I have got a couple artists that I definitely want to shout out and some albums that I really want to sound off about. A couple of them are from Business Casual, so shout out Christ. Maybe that makes me like a vapor normie, but like, God damn it, if he doesn't curate some of the best work.
Oh, no, I don't think so at all.
Dude, every time I walk by his table at venues, I always have to talk to some people that like are just looking and be like, you should get that one. And here's why. I can't help try to like sell albums for these people. And one of them that I always point out, but that I never actually listened to, like head to foot, toe to toe, was Seth Nova's Eternal Heartbreak. And then I finally...
Oh, yeah, Seth Nova's great.
Yeah, he is. I finally bought it.
He's such a great songwriter in general.
Yeah, he is. He really has the whole like late 80s, like early 90s, like just soft rock, I guess like pop vibe on lock. I know somebody, a meaner person than myself once said, we have Milli Vanilli at home. Or something like, no, I wasn't Milli Vanilli. It was somebody else. Someone's going to roast me in the chat. I can't remember who it was. Never mind. Just forget you heard that. Anyways, so some Skritty Politi. Thank you. One of those fucking names. Skritty Politi. Just forget. Go listen to Seth Nova's Eternal Heartbreak because he's amazing at songwriting. He's got a beautiful voice. He's got an amazing synth palette. Honestly, even if he didn't sing, the songs would stand on their own. I'm glad you guys are getting a kick out of this. The songs stand very, very strong. He's a phenomenally poignant songwriter. And if you haven't listened to Seth Nova's Eternal Heartbreak, you really need to. I'm incredibly excited about what he has to bring to the table next. What do they call it? Vaporwave 2.0, I think. The Vaporwave with vocals. I've heard some people say it. I'm sure Donor Lens knows what it is and will probably tell us. But anyways, I'm going to move on to the next one. Very, very good homie. Definitely took my time in getting to the album, embarrassingly. But after hearing so much of it live, I'm so glad that I finally listened start to finish to Simple Syrup's Bloom. Simple Syrup.
Oh, it's great. That's a good one.
Along with a hero, Vincent Van Gogh, and some other people who are probably going to be upset that I forgot them, have been part of the Vaporwave Zero movement and have been incredibly good at kind of taking... Not even taking the sounds of Ace-Free Fantasy and Satin Sheets, just kind of like doing that, but like differently and in a new and exciting way, and just in a way that like works really well with it and stands strong on its own. So anyways, if you like shakuhachis, if you like the like loon call sounds, if you like vaporwave that's original compositions and just like very like breaks influenced electronic music, very lush, you need to listen to Simple Syrup's Bloom. There's a song in particular on the album called Sky Mirror that was my favorite song. Not my favorite, but one of my absolute favorite songs of the entire year when I heard it. It's just incredibly triumphant and just goes Dumbo hard. So Simple Syrup, and he does it. He's great live too. Man, all the Vaporwave Zero boys are live. Are great live, but Simple Syrup is real great live. Love playing with him. They really are all good, but he's my personal favorite, even though I like all three. So check out Simple Syrup's Bloom, and then of course in typical Shiro fashion, I've got one that's kind of a left field recommendation that you probably have heard or possibly fuck with, Chris. And it's an album that I actually can thank Mesh for putting me on. It's an album released on Coup d'etat, which is Tendency's album record label, and it's by a guy called Sven K, and it's called City 41.
I do know that album, actually, and I do.
Me too. It's incredibly like, I don't like to use the word liminal, but it's a very like unsettling, but also very like IDM kind of like just digital sounding. It's probably dream punk adjacent or like down tempo IDM kind of influenced, but it's very like post-apocalyptic, you might say, in a really good way. It reminds me of, I don't know if you remember The Intel, the guy that did the production for Jimmy Tamborello for the Postal Service. He did some singles.
Oh, wait, whoa, yeah.
Of course you do. He did some singles that were kind of
absolutely
post-apocalyptic in nature, and Sven K reminds me of that, but just like way better. Well,
I was a fan of all the Jimmy
absolutely.
Tamborello stuff. I wish he still did the
Me
figurine
too.
stuff
Jimmy
too.
Figurine was really good stuff. So if you like James Figurine, Jimmy Tamborello, Postal Service, Mesh, or any sort of dream punk, or
I wish there was more music.
Me too, man. It's very unsettling, like IDM, down tempo esque. You know, maybe a little bit of deep house that breaks in there. Yeah, I would say that. It fits right in with that. Yeah. So anyways, check out City 41 by Sven K. And that's all I got for you. I'm going to turn it over to Skeleton Lipstick, who, if you guys don't know, is a renowned vaporwave musician and runs the Terminally Chill parties. And while you talk, I'm going to fix these screen grabs.
Yes, hello. Skeleton Lipstick here. Loved by most, hated only by losers and psychopaths. Same. Nice to talk to you guys again. So the more that I'm on Hot Takes and the more I interview people, I always ask them how they're making their music, what their favorite synthesizers are, and a lot of times they are pointing me into the direction of some very interesting software synthesizers, and they are very powerful, and they're very dynamic, and they're very malleable to make the sounds that you want, and I see fewer and fewer people really using hardware these days, and that is not a bad thing, but I miss synthesizers. And my hot take is that I'm still of the opinion that I really do think that at the end of the day, and you don't have to have synthesizers, you don't need them, but there's something very special about using them that to me is always going to be a little bit more exciting and more enticing and seductive to me to use than the software synthesizers. And I understand that they can be very expensive. And when I was starting out, I didn't have a lot of money to spend on synthesizers either, but it did make me, I always wanted one. I was always driving and putting aside money to try and get one and to look for deals. And, there was something really fun about the hunt of getting one and making the decision about which one to buy, because it was going to be a really big investment. The software synthesizers, I could maybe even pirate them somewhere, or I could, or they wouldn't be that expensive. And if I didn't like it, I could just put it to this, I could almost delete off my computer and I wouldn't have to live with it. I could try another one. But the thing about putting the investment into some of the synthesizers was to really, you had to go and do research about them. You had to learn about why this one was going to be the better one for you. And particularly if you wanted to start using an old synthesizer, maybe from a different generation or a different decade, and then you really had to do your homework, because that was going to be a really big deal to try and find one. And then you might find one, you'd have to maybe even learn how to fix it or find somebody to fix it. There was a bit of a journey involved with that. And also the difficulty into trying to figure out how to even, especially when you're first starting out, how you record it into the computer and what you do to, what that requires, how you have to balance that. So in my hot take is that no matter how good the technology becomes with software synthesizers, I think there's just always going to be something a little bit more interesting and maybe a little bit more magic about using the hardware. It's not necessary, but I'm always going to have a preference for using that over the software synthesizers. And this is after a few years now of talking to a lot of musicians in this talk show that have pointed me in the direction of some stuff that sounds amazing, maybe even a little bit better, than some of the old hardware. You know what I mean? But my hot take is that I still am going to prefer that over the other options. And I want to get the opinion of some friends of ours who are very big into hardware and very big into software too, and very, very big into production in general. And I would really love to get their opinion on the situation, because I know those guys know a lot about production, and I know they know a lot about hardware and software. So I really want to see what these guys have to say, because I feel like they've got a really good voice about this that I think is a little bit more a seasoned voice in the subject.
Seasoned indeed.
To hear what they have to say. I bet you guys are probably, and I bet all you guys are probably pretty interested to hear what they have to say.
Oh, dude, the response to the promo for this episode I've mentioned has been like very. Whoops! I almost removed that cam. Ooh, it's been very overwhelmingly good.
Obviously, our buddy Limmy over here is bringing up really good points. Hardware is fun, but it's difficult to learn how to record. I mean, yeah, it's difficult in general. I'm not saying that it's better. I want to let everybody know you don't need it. I'm not saying it's better. This is my hot take. That does not mean that it is the truth, and that does not mean that it's any better or worse. And it's probably much better actually using software. I'm just saying that there's a little bit of a quest involved in using the hardware, and a little bit of sacrifice involved in using it. That sort of that is attractive to me.
Sounds hard.
So, but I want to see what these guys have to say.
You know what? Let's go ahead and bring on our renowned guests. So we've got Donor Lens in the stew, who graciously decided to go out of their way. Not only out of their way, like, for the time, but, like, apparently they live pretty far apart. I didn't know this. I'm going to go ahead and pull the screensaver off so people can see you guys. I'm still fixing this. I hope you guys aren't tuned into Twitch or you're going to be pissed. But anyways, so apparently Thom and Jay live really far apart from each other, but apparently, but they still managed to like go out of their way to be physically together on this late Saturday night. But yeah, so everybody can see and hear you guys now. Donor, I mean, I don't really even know where to start. Like, they've got a blog. They've got there's the My Pet Flamingo, right? They have solo projects. Love and Dust is, I believe, what Thom's is called, and Kid Neon is what Jay goes by. And you're in a synthwave band, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe I miss. Both of you are in synthwave bands, and you work with Patrick Fakeman as well.
No, we're in a synthwave band.
Damn. So they basically like never sleep, and they have, I'm pretty sure, families too. But anyways,
yeah, they have lives.
Yeah, so they have lives in addition to all of this. So let me make this screen work so you guys can see the lovely boys, Donor Lens, probably our most requested guest on the show. And you guys tell us what you think about Skelly's preference over hardware versus software. Where do you guys fall on that?
First of all, can you hear us?
Yes, you sound great.
You're loud and clear, guys.
Fantastic. We've been so stressed, but we've earned the drink.
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. We're over that now. I mean, you were setting us up. We actually drew a Venn diagram to kind of explain all our connections and stuff, which might be useful. You can find that on our Instagram. It's called the Donor Venn.
The Donor Venn. Stop it.
Yeah. It's complex. It's very complex. But yeah, Chris, it was interesting to hear what you have to say. I mean, you can't really see in the studio because I feel if I move this webcam, everything's going to go to shit. But there's a few bits and pieces of hardware synths that I've collected over a long time. I've got an SH101, I've got a Juno 106, I've got a Prophet, and I've got a Korg Op6, which is like a more recent thing. And they're really nice bits of kit, and I've got no intention of ever buying anything else.
Yeah, I'm kind of done now too. It's the same thing. Like, I mean, I feel like you get to a point once you've gotten enough of them, and after you've made enough music, we're like, I think this is good. Like I'm good with space. Some people never end, but I think a lot of people do eventually get to a point where they're like, I made my investments now.
Yeah. It just becomes about the shopping and posting on Reddit rather than making music beyond a certain point as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you using mostly those synthesizers though when you're recording, when you're making the music? What are you using? Where do you come down on the hardware versus software though? Where do you come down?
Yeah, man, I really like the Arteria collection. Yeah. I mean, like when I'm feeling lazy, I use software versions of things that I own.
Yeah. So like when we were making Midnight Store, I did quite a lot of the demos of the tracks that I kind of led on. I made those like on the coach from Wales down to London, just like on my laptop, just using the keys of the laptop as a keyboard and just like using soft synth stuff. Or we'll do like if I come right here, we'll often just like jam on the synths and stuff. I mean, because sometimes it's like just the physical act of like standing in front of a piece of like a synthesizer. It's gonna kind of spark something that wouldn't necessarily come from in front of a laptop where you've got kind of unlimited sound choices. If you just go, right, I'm just gonna stand in front of this, and then stuff can start to happen. So I think there's merit to both.
The limitations are cool, the jankiness is cool. Like my SH101's got a really common fault that if you touch the on-off button, the tuning goes like completely haywire. Like it goes like a semitone out of tune. If you put your finger too near the power button, like weird stuff starts happening. And like obviously like there's something kind of romantic and cool about it.
Really.
But it's also a bit of a pain in the ass that it does that.
If I can jump in real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Tom, you're a lot louder than Jay is. I don't know if it's because you're closer in proximity to the mic.
It's because
if that could be like centered a little bit, that'd be phenomenal. Just want all of our guests to be able to hear both of you fellas.
Jay is just quiet.
If he may just be a quiet fella.
He is the mumbler.
Sorry to interrupt, but we want to.
I'll either like not say anything for like 45 minutes, or I'll just ramble on about some nonsense. If I do either of those things, just tell me.
Just whisper it in my ear.
Nobody will be upset with either arrangement. Tell them. Anyways, proceed. Thank you for fixing that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So getting a little bit of idea of that now. Okay, but let's take a step back for a moment. First of all, how did you guys meet each other?
Tom taught my little brother drums for a little while.
And you taught me guitar.
Nice.
And then I started teaching Tom the guitar. Yeah. So like, I think it's just like, because like you can play like a bunch of instruments, but I think you just never learn how to. Like the guitar was just one that you
not
never
formally, no.
Yeah. So, and I was just like starting to, because I used to like just do like bar jobs and stuff like that, and I was like trying to get into teaching music. So you were like he was like my first student, and so I taught you guitar for a little while, and he was just like super naughty and didn't do the homeworks. No, so yeah, it got to a stage where it was like, it got to a stage where it was just like, also he was just like super good, like where he was like a really good musician, like it was like just so much work, like prepping lessons and stuff. So in the end, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Why don't we like just like do like a music project together?
Why don't we just work on music together at this, rather than you prep music? Like why don't we just work on it together?
Yeah, because we spent most of the lessons like chatting about music anyway, and like we've got really different musical backgrounds and really different musical tastes, but like I think there were like certain things that we have in common, or like we found each other's interests interesting.
That's
and that
kind of
like
interesting.
I think something was I think, I mean, I know it's not the hot take section, but like,
you can drop hot takes whenever
if you're thinking about
you want.
collaborating
You can
with
go ahead,
people,
drop them
I got the
anytime
flames GIF ready.
Okay, well, my hot take is make electronic music with other people.
Damn.
Because it's not an easy thing to do. Like electronic music is quite a solipsistic thing. Like it's kind of set up for like one person just getting into a flow state at a computer, and you're kind of dialoguing with yourself. But making music with other people, which is like a more traditional way of making music, and trying to bend the techniques of the software to kind of accommodate another person. It's really good. It's like an ego check. Like I feel like making music in electronic music in the kind of traditional solo way is like it's like an ego trip. Like it's just you're just with yourself and you're just kind of alone with your thoughts. But like trying to communicate your ideas with another person, it's just really good for your communication, and it's really good for your as an ego check. And I think it takes the music into really interesting places. It doubles the possibilities. The possibilities are infinite anyway, but it kind of doubles that, whatever 2 times infinite is, you know.
That's
that's a great
interesting
point.
take, because you're absolutely right. Because a lot of people, they get into electronic music because like, I'd like to do something on my own that's just my own voice being pushed forward. And electronic music usually is a pretty good vector for, you know, if you're trying to really personalize your sound and who you are and communicate. Yeah, a lot of people gravitate towards electronic music because of the endless possibilities. So the idea of approaching it from like a band perspective, particularly with the way that you guys are describing as 2 people who have like relatively like slightly disparate tastes in music or slightly disparate backgrounds in music, you know, coming together.
Yeah, big
time. You know, and I love that idea. What you said, a very interesting thing was like, well, we kind of found the other one taste intriguing. You know what I mean? Like that's really a great way to collaborate, where you're both coming from, you have different backgrounds, you have some similarities, but the differences you guys have in each other, the other person finds intriguing. You know what I mean? And I think that's probably the best way. That's how you know you have a good collaborator, right? Because maybe 2 people come together, but their interests are very similar. So then what's the point of maybe doing like electronic duo if you both are kind of coming at from the same influences? So would you recommend that if people are going to collaborate, that they try and maybe go a little bit outside their comfort zone, maybe try and find someone who's not completely different, maybe who has a similar, maybe like skill, you know, maybe similar skill levels, but maybe has like a background in different types of music or taste in different types of music? Would you say that's probably the best way to collaborate with somebody? The best collaborators?
Works for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like it could work either way, couldn't it? Because I think the other good thing about like working with someone else is like you kind of you're pressured to like actually put music out and actually finish stuff. Like we were both guilty of like just having like loads of music just sat kind of finished or like nearly finished, but not having the like, you know, you can just sit and you can, if it's your own project, you can just sit and just fiddle with a mix for just forever and ever and ever. But whereas if you've got someone else, you kind of pressure, you know, each other to be like, when are we doing this thing? You know, when are we going to put this thing out? And then you kind of set deadlines and stuff like that. And you know, so there's that aspect of it as well. I think just having someone to bounce ideas off of and stuff as well.
Yeah, accountability and delegation.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Accountability. Can I ask you guys, what is the biggest differences between your tastes in music?
I was going to say, I can't wait to find out what they think sucks about the other person's taste in music.
Oh my God. I was going to wait for you to ask those questions. But
you onboarded it.
What's the biggest difference in what's the biggest differences in the way?
So Jay's wearing an architect's hat. So architects are like describe who architects are. I don't even really know who they are. They're like a modern metal band, right?
Yeah, I mean they've been around for quite a long time now.
Oh yeah.
Pretty heavy.
Lux says it asks if they're a djent band.
No, because djent's not a genre of music.
That's a hot take.
Wow. No, it's like, I mean, there's like elements of that kind of stuff.
Technical?
In it. Yeah, it's like just
modern
technical modern metal. It's definitely got elements of that kind of djenty stuff in it, but less of their modern, their newer stuff. But you should listen to it; it's really good.
Cool. And I'm wearing a Drexciya sweatshirt, so like I probably know more about like early techno, early house records, like IDM and stuff. But you probably know more about modern electronic music. You know way more about synthwave. I know more about classical music. I know more about fusiony stuff. You play the sitar. You know about Indian classical music. I don't know about Indian classical music.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I haven't played for like couple of years now. I've kind of fallen out of practice since I moved out of London, but yeah, I played the sitar.
There's one Donaland song you play sitar on.
Oh, that's cool
on Miracle
as
Lounge. Yeah, Miracle Lounge.
What's it called? Miracle Lounge?
Our first album. Yeah, so on the Miracle Lounge album, there's a track called Complimentary Buffet, which is quite a silly little song, but it's got like it's got like a little sitar riff, and that's it sounds fake, but it's Jay playing sitar.
I didn't know that was a real.
We need
sitar
our
in
audience to know that, so that's why I asked you to name drop. Thanks for the track ID, boys.
Yeah. And Data Girl did a remix of that, didn't she? Like back in the day. It's
Data
really
Girl's
good.
cool
I think
as
her
shit.
version's probably. Yeah, and congratulations as well to her and Nana Shrine.
Oh yeah,
Adult,
congratulations
yeah.
to Data
That's
Girl
right.
and Nano.
Yeah, it's so cute. Vapor romance, vapor wedding, gorgeous.
Never experienced that.
Congrats.
All right. So, can I ask you, when you guys first got together, how did you decide what kind of music you were going to make together? Obviously, you both respected each other's tastes. You both had different backgrounds. How did you even start the first song together? Did someone come and prepare something?
Say what the brief was. Okay, yeah. So I was like, I want to do a vaporwave project, but I want to try and do like a completely sample-free vaporwave project.
Whoa, wait, stop for 1 second. So you already wait. I gotta stop you guys for 1 second. So you had already come in saying we're gonna do something interesting in the vaporwave sphere, and you presented that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
That's because you've been doing My Pet Flamingo stuff for like a year or two before we started, right?
Yeah, so I think we started My Pet Flamingo in like 2018. I think we released some vaporwave on Timeslave recordings in 2017.
Timeslave, thank you. Name slipped my mind earlier.
Okay, so Donor Lens comes after My Pet Flamingo then. Okay.
Yeah. I think it was like 2018. We actually officially set up My Pet Flamingo. That's me and Enzo.
So you'd already been involved.
And then,
You'd already been involved in the vaporwave sphere at this time for about a year and a half. You'd already been seeing how much fluidity there was and how much room there was to press into the genre and do something different. And it kind of gave you the idea of like, you know what, let me see what I can do to approach this with my new collaborators. We have a lot of freedom in this realm. Yeah. Okay, so go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. So you brought that too, yeah.
I think my original idea was I don't think I necessarily knew Runners Club's music at that point, but like the idea that I had now in hindsight was kind of like what their kind of workflow is of like kind of making pop music and then sort of, you know, chopping and screwing it and stuff like that. So yeah, anyway, yeah, so I kind of pitched that idea to Thom, and we kind of went with that for a little while.
Yeah. We kind of demoed the whole album that way. So like Miracle Lounge, we made Miracle Lounge as like a sample-free vaporwave album.
Yeah.
And then like on the home stretch, like when I was mixing it, I was just like slipping little samples in on every song. I think that like that was just kind of icing the cake, putting in some little, you know, when you're at the ear candy stage of like an original production and you're putting in the little sparkles, you know, you're doing all that kind of stuff. I was kind of littering it with samples.
Yeah.
Specifically samples that related to the track titles. So like when I'm working with samples, I always try to relate the sampled material to like the concept and the name of the song. Like I don't sample just random stuff for the sake of it. Like it always kind of makes sense in the kind of the world that we're building. So I kind of littered, we both littered the album with samples that kind of related to the instrumental beds that we've made, basically.
So you were keeping it thematic. So as you were adding samples, it wasn't just for the sake of adding it, you were keeping it thematic as well. You were kind of actually, hammering down the theme of the song and the album as you added it. You were using it to round off everything when you put the samples in. Okay, that's interesting.
Every time somebody says Donor Lens isn't vaporwave, Thom adds another sample.
I like that concept.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean, I don't know if I can launch into another hot take, but my hot take is that we're terrible poster children for sample-free vaporwave because we've barely made any.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's really interesting.
Like
how the turntables.
Almost every single song has got like.
Yeah. So I mean, like we kind of, I think Runners Club started before us, but like we've kind of been sort of each other's best kind of competition, and like we've kind of made our moves at the same kind of time by and large. But they're much better.
They're much better.
They're much better at sticking to this sample-free thing, and we kind of fell at the first hurdle in that respect because samples are fun. I like working with samples. We both do.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Samples are fun. I mean, I thought it was I would say that I thought it was very interesting. I thought, so there was the Pat Chennington live stream, the Grand Slam, what was it called? It was during the summer of quarantine. And then you guys came in with a clarinet.
Like
at one
the block
point
party or whatever.
Block party. That's right. And I thought that was such a cool move. I found it to be delightfully transgressive to the concept of vaporwave, and I adored that scene. I think that's what kind of layered you guys into being the poster boys for, like, you know, live instrumentation vaporwave act. Was like once you bring out the woodwind, everyone it's like, whoa.
Oh, Sky Yamaha does that shit too. That's badass.
Is that,
Yeah.
I say, oh, so permission has been granted, huh?
Yeah, to play woodwind. She actually told me she'd apparently she's lost her flute. She was telling us
what?
Flamingo Fest. She was like,
poor thing.
She was like, I can't find my flute.
That's not okay.
Yeah, we've actually made a track with her, which incorporates some flute stuff, like years ago, like
I didn't
3
know
or 4
that.
years ago, and it's never seen the light of day.
Are you
and
serious?
It really
You're gonna have to save it for the Patreon.
Yeah.
You guys have done
hot
so
take
many...
again. I think she is so underrated.
Oh yeah,
And
she's stupid
one of the most underrated.
She is, yeah, she's great. She's great on all the tracks that I've heard her on with you guys. She's always great.
That's facts.
Guys, you guys have done so many collaborations, actually. Everybody from like studio to obviously Data Girl to Ukulele to actually to me as well. Tell you the truth, with me as well. You guys have worked with so many different types of artists, as I just mentioned. Are you guys always looking for collaborations? Are you always looking to, are you always open to working with more people to try to, extend your influence and extend the influences on you from as many people as you can in this world, in this little like scene world? Is that a bit of a goal for you guys?
Yes. I think we're trying to do less now because we've done so much previously.
We've done so much. Yeah, it's interesting.
Kind of went through a period of like a couple of years where we were just like, so we just said yes to like pretty much every single.
I'm familiar with that concept.
Yeah, no, I absolutely been there.
Do you guys ever do like remixes?
I think it's mainly us asking other people. Yeah, we've done remixes and we've been remixed, like
sick.
Like Data Girl's done a bunch for us. We've got a remix like in the works, which could be really exciting if it shows up, of one of our recent singles. It's I can't really say more than that, but we've done remixes for people. We've done lots of features. We've done 2 with Be Careful. I think
we love that
tracks
guy.
are really strong.
Yeah, we love him. Friend of the show.
Yeah, shout out. But yeah, it's hard to keep track of everything. Like our Bandcamp and our Spotify are like quite good sort of catalogs of what we've done. Sometimes I have to look through it and be like, oh yeah, we made that.
Shout out Naoko Coed for constantly dropping those links.
I have to say that every time you collab with somebody, you've really done it. It sounds different. That's the thing that's really interesting too. Is that every time you've done a collaboration with another artist, it's like another side of what you guys are capable of and what you guys can do. It's a whole different sound almost all the time. Like with each different artist you work with, whether that be with like the most recent Ukulele song or Data Girl collab or all these. Every time you work with another artist, you're doing something different. You know what I mean? I'm still stunned by I'm still stunned by the guitar textures that you guys put out for the collaboration with me. That was phenomenal. I couldn't even believe you guys created those sounds. And so you're always doing something. I don't know, you guys seem to have a lot of musical ideas. Where does this come from? Do you have a set sound? Is there one particular artist that has influenced you, or one particular artist's career that has influenced both of you guys that you look to when you need inspiration?
I think that's another interesting thing about being a duo, or like, kind of working with other people, is like we were saying earlier about having like loads of different influences and stuff like that. But I think we also quite early on both realized that we kind of like just making multi-genre music. Like Gorillaz, or these kind of electronic acts.
Keeps it fresh for sure.
Yeah, because it's just like I don't know. I kind of feel like it's easy to get stuck in a sort of cycle of, like what am I trying to say?
I think like the way it works, because we've got like loads of side projects which are more strictly kind of one genre. So like you make synthwave stuff under the name Kid Neon, I've got a vaporwave project, which is Witcher to LimeWire, which is like vaporwave.
Yes.
I've got an IDM project as well. And I think like Donor Lens is the sandpit where we can kind of muck around with all our ideas. And I think like just the nature of the internet and the nature of internet music is that like you can kind of make your mistakes out in public, and you can kind of you can like throw paint at the canvas, and you know people can see if they like it or not, and it doesn't really matter.
True.
Like I think in the like major label kind of album era where you had to like spend 2-3 years making your little masterpiece, and you know it either worked or it didn't, but like you kind of had to get it right, otherwise you were finished. Like with internet music it doesn't matter, because like we put out a single once a month, and it's like if people don't like what we're doing at the moment, they might like the one that comes next month, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't detract from our existing work. It's an option. You know, we're competing with so much stuff out there. Like it's kind of the way you have to do it, I think.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, just to be clear, like I wasn't saying like there's anything wrong with like making music in one genre. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just like especially with this project, and it's kind of having a bit of a knock-on effect with some of our other projects as well. It's like we've just kind of gone make like
it's just like a slightly restless thing. Like I think like somebody like Fire Tools does it to a more extreme extent, and probably to a better extent than what we do as well, which is like I listen to all this music, I might as well reflect it in the music I make.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why people gravitate towards Donor Lens a lot, and I feel like the longer you guys are around, the more that people who are associated with vaporwave are beginning to gravitate towards you and actually looking to what you guys are doing, is because it feels like a playground. You know what I mean? Your musical output does feel a bit like a playground. It does feel a bit like two guys who have a lot of interesting ideas about music, and this is a great area for them to explore that. And I think that's inspiring to a lot of people. And I think as we would have seen over the years since you guys started, is like more and more people like kind of like turning their head towards you, and you're becoming more, it's like over time you're slowly becoming more of a focal point for the contemporary vaporwave world, which is like, in my opinion, great news. I really do feel like people should be looking to what you guys are doing and thinking about how you guys approach music, and how you put out the music in this world as a good idea of where we should, where they could go to in their own way. You know what I mean? In as so much as this is like an output for all the sounds that they like, and then a way that's fluid and can be shifted around and changed constantly. And I think that's a great way to approach it.
I mean, it's genre bending at its finest.
You know what I mean?
I feel like you guys are like premium genre benders. I have a lot of respect for that personally.
Premium genre bender, yeah, exactly. But
I mean, DDS do it as well, don't they? And you know, they're having great success doing it. So you know, audiences can totally buy into it, like the versatility aspect. You know, it's something we can do. So it'd be silly to kind of shut ourselves off from things that we can do. Like I mean, I don't want to give him too much attention, because the That's Not Vaporwave guy, Triton, who gives us shit. I think he might be watching. Actually, he said he's going to tune in. Like
he watches.
I don't know. Like we're not going to restrict ourselves. You know, we're capable of doing certain things, so obviously we're going to do them. Like I think it would be inauthentic for us not to explore those avenues.
I mean, why paint yourself into a corner, right?
Yeah, we paint ourselves into a corner with other projects deliberately. Like we establish clear boundaries with our other projects, but like this one doesn't have those boundaries, which is why it's fun. And it's probably, you know, it's more popular than our other projects as well, so people like it, I think.
We've got an album coming out in March, which is Rose Room, which is just kind of stuff that we're talking about right now. But the funny thing about this whole conversation is we've got like pretty much finished like classic vaporwave.
Yeah, we do have a classic vaporwave record to put out at some point. 2024, I think it might come out. We actually made it like in 2020. Some of the demos date back that far. So yeah, like we do every now and then. Yeah, like we're sitting on like a bunch of stuff which really is classic vaporwave, like one song plundered. Like that is a part of our sound. Like it is something we do. We don't just dick about on clarinets
and sitars.
Guitar one time only, but you know.
Sick.
Can I ask you what's the most difficult part of creating the albums?
Of creating the what? Sorry.
Albums.
The albums.
Yeah, what's the most difficult part for it? What is most difficult to record?
Like
or what's
drawing a line.
Together?
I think honestly, it's like the end, like drawing a line and going. This is done now.
Yeah.
Oh, I can
No more
only
tinkering.
imagine. How do you decide when you're done? I ask a lot of people this. I mean, I know you do the sprinkling of the samples, but how do you decide, like, we're done?
I think we're in like a unique situation because obviously like we've got the MPF connection. So obviously Jay has got conflict of interest working for both MPF and doing Donalen stuff, but Enzo, who also runs MPF, isn't involved in Donalen. So I think like a deadline is just a good thing. So well,
Okay,
we can't
literally
faff
like
around beyond
a
this
physical
point.
deadline. You better have this done by this time.
Yeah, it's good, and you just work up to that point, and then yeah, like I mean, they'll be like, you know, I try not to listen, you know, in the kind of weeks after the deadline because it'll be like, oh shit, that snare drum needs to be louder, or blah blah blah. But like, that's not how people listen to music. People listen to the tunes. You know, people listen to the atmospheres. Like people want to feel something. Like the technical side of things is you know, other producers might listen to music that way, but like that's not how the listening public listens to music. So, you know, you just got to take a step away, listen to something else, do something else.
It's a great advice, I think.
Yeah,
That's
that
great
really
advice
is a
for people
great
producing
take.
at home. It's really good advice for people producing at home. Can I ask you, is there one particular song you guys were writing and you're like, or recording, and you're like, this was extremely difficult to put together and extremely difficult to make? That one that you're like, man, that one took days, months, weeks for us to get that one right.
You know, we put out a single with Yana Tyrrell, who's like our regular like vocal collaborator. It's called Get Back.
Oh yeah.
We put it out sort of fairly recently, and it's in like a kind of UK dance style, but that went through like a bunch of iterations, right? And like Jay, you'd made it, and it was kind of like 9 Inch Nails-y, kind of industrially,
That track has got so many samples in it. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Really?
So the sample stayed, but like I just kind of, because so the record we're putting out in the first quarter of this year is like the main theme of it is it's like quite a dancey record, and I made just like kind of for fun, like I made a version of Jay's demo like in a very specific style. So like there's a style of like UK dance music called niche or bassline, which is like kind of a bit like speed garage, and it was like popular in the 2000s in like northern towns in like Sheffield.
We got a damn music
and, like, the
historian
Midlands,
over
like
here.
Nottingham and stuff. Okay, but it's like it's a super niche genre, and the genre's name is niche, funnily enough. And like it's a really cool sound. Like I kind of that's one of the things that we both like, which is this, it's like house music with 909s and stuff, like M1 kind of organ bass lines, and it's like quite often like frothy kind of R&B vocals and stuff, and it's just really fun music, and it never really took off like outside a very kind of specific location. And I just made like a version of Jay's demo in this style, like kind of as a joke, and I played it to you and you were like, I'm not sure.
Oh no, what have you done?
And yeah, what have you done? And
Then it grew me.
yeah,
What hath God
was a
wrought?
grower. So that one took some time. It took it took some time to go.
I'm usually just like, so
This fool just said, yeah.
I'm usually just so like, you just do whatever, man. I don't really have strong feelings about, like, you know, like, as long as it sounds good, I don't really care. But that was one where I was like, no, I want it to sound exactly like this.
Yeah, and it's
Keep
normally,
that one for the
me being pedantic
Patreon.
and difficult, and Jay. Well, we need a Patreon clearly for all this, the extra stuff. But yeah, like Jay is like a super easy collaborator, and like you're just kind of happy to go with the flow, and I'm like a bit more reserved, and like I don't know, like I sort of take my time to kind of reach judgments about certain things and stuff. Like I'm a bit more reserved and a bit more critical. But like that was one instance where it's the exact opposite, where I was like really fired. I was like, I really want to reference this like specific style, and you were like, wow, not sure. And but it turned out well.
Yeah, I'm happy with it now.
Damn, I really need to research that niche Because I've
Yeah,
not
and
heard
that's
of that.
that's exactly what I'm gonna do when I
might
get
need you
off.
to drop some
Yeah,
tracks.
I'm gonna research that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So there was one which was like, there was one which kind of crossed over into the UK pop charts, and it's called "Heartbroken" by an artist called T2, and it's got a music video where like with like a load of kind of lesser known Premier League soccer players are like driving around in their Audi TTs and stuff. It's like very Y2K. Yeah, "Heartbroken" by T2.
Damn,
is like
that
a
sounds
song
pretty
we
badass,
like
actually.
love. Yeah. I think I sent it to Nrail at one point, and it like blew his mind, or maybe it was "Be Careful," but like
I'm gonna have to check it out. So let me ask you, so do you guys mostly use Ableton, or what DAW do you guys use?
So Thom uses Ableton, and I use Logic, which provides its own
headaches.
Yeah, its own headaches.
Well, you guys use different DAWs?
And you got Mac. Yeah, and he uses Mac and I use PC.
I use Mac and he uses PC, and I use Logic and he uses Ableton.
Wow.
It's
a house divided.
Wait, how do you guys?
We make it work.
How do you do this then?
We transfer.
One of them uses Serato, and one of them
we
uses
just, like-
Record Box.
Oh my goodness! So do you guys make the stems? And
Yeah, but actually,
It's actually true. It's actually true as well, because I use Serato and Thom uses.
and we've done
Oh my
DJ gigs where
God.
you've been playing on a controller.
Why are you
and
guys
everything.
making so hard on
Like,
each other?
it's a mess. It's a mess.
I've learned to use CDJs though since then.
That's a Skelly hot take, isn't it? Do you need to
It
learn
is a
how to
skelly
use
hot take.
CDJs?
It just makes life so much easier. Are you
Worst
kidding? You
take.
guys are in Britain. I didn't think you were allowed to not use CDJs out there. I thought that was required. So that's
There's no video evidence. of me
you gotta let me. I gotta
using
get back to this though. So you guys are using completely different computers, completely different digital audio workstations. So does one of you make the stems on their like if someone starts the song, do you make the stems and then export them, and then the other person puts them into their computer? How do you make sure this works?
So we froze.
We got you.
We always like finalize everything in Ableton.
Okay.
And like the mix down and the master and stuff happens in Ableton, but like Thom makes stuff in Ableton, I make stuff in Logic, and then we just kind of
Send things back and forth.
stems, MIDI, that kind of stuff. We just send
Stems and MIDI.
just
Okay.
kind of. I mean, we're not like married to the idea of like us both having to like produce 50% of every single song as well.
Of course.
Like,
Yeah.
there's some tracks that I've made more of, some tracks that Thom's made more of. Like, we're both pretty easy going in that kind of stuff. In that kind of perspective. So
Okay, that's good. When you guys write the songs, where do you usually start? Because I ask a lot of people this question. I mean, does it usually come with a riff or the drum track, or is there a now particular way that starts, or is there some place that you guys like to start when you write a song?
it's so varied.
Yeah,
man.
very-
It's so
I
varied.
imagine it's
Like I was
varied.
saying, like most of my tracks that I kind of started on Midnight Store was literally just me sat on a coach. Like
You were living between two places at
Yeah.
the time, like that was kind of part of the sound of the album, like so I think we sort of hinted at it but like didn't clear up. So I live in London, sort of, like I live in suburbs just outside London, and you grew up in London. Donor Lens is actually an anagram of Londoners, which we found out after the fact, which is
Ooh,
really
what?
cool.
What?
Donor Lens is an anagram of Londoners. You heard it on
Yeah.
Hot Takes.
Holy shit! I can't believe that.
Yeah, we had no
So
idea.
fun.
It's just like a kind of cosmic kind of thing. But like you moved to South Wales, which is kind of is and isn't a different country. But like we're a good like couple of 100 miles away from each other now. So there's some distance.
Yeah.
Jesus.
a good 100 miles away.
But yeah, you wrote loads of demos for Midnight Store, which is probably our most successful record, and you were like just working on the laptop, like
Yeah, I was just boshing out like just like riffs and ideas, just like on
coach trips.
just on coach trips.
I actually heard some sad news about the Midnight Store recently.
Yeah, rest in peace.
It's crazy though, right? We're gonna get the sign from the side of the shop.
Ooh.
We spoke to the people who
Yeah.
So we spoke to the people who own it. Who Enzo used to rent a flat literally around the corner from it, from the same people who own the building, and they basically said we can have the sign. We can have the sign. So we're
That's
gonna
awesome.
go and collect that.
That's so fire.
Let me ask you though,
It's a piece of history.
how did you decide, so when you decided to eventually translate the Donor Lens albums to the live setting, how did you decide how you were going to organize that process? Did you always know which stuff you'd play live or which stuff you were going to sample, have automated? How difficult was it a process to translate what you want to do, what you've done on these albums to a live setting?
You can see, like, if you go on YouTube and just type in Donor Lens live, right, you can watch from the start of like COVID. You can just watch like our live set just change every single live stream set we did. It changed, the format changed, the tracks changed, everything just changed. And then we did when was our first actual IRL show?
Maybe the one with Runners Club in London.
Yeah, the Post Bar.
Yeah.
So then we did that, and I was still lugging around like the M1 keyboard and playing guitar and all that kind of stuff. And then
I was taking a Prophet around with me and stuff. We've massively streamlined over time. Like we've tried like everything from like full band, live drums, my mum playing violin, guest vocalist. Like, we've had like that, which is like
That's cool.
Expensive and hard to administrate, and like where we're at now is like basically I DJ and you sing.
Yeah.
it's so much.
That's great. Listen, you have to do what works and what sounds best. You know what I mean? I think that's the tough thing about people when they try and translate to the live set, and the first time they do it, it's like everybody always overcomplicates it. Everybody always brings too many expensive synths with them, or doesn't have everything set up properly, and it's exhausting. And then eventually you get to the point where like, what do we really need to do here? You know what I mean? And honestly, once you streamline it, like, it becomes such a much more enjoyable process for yourself and for the audience too. I think, I think that people get stuck in the idea that they need to overcomplicate the live setup, and they don't. You know what I mean? Really, what they should be working on is just the theme of the live setup, how the songs are going to progress, how everything's going to go. But do you have any advice to people who want to start playing live and maybe have a setup that's maybe sort of similar to yours, maybe a little bit like a dream poppy, chill wavy thing, and they're in the vaporwave scene, they want to start doing live? Do you have any advice to them so they don't get in over their head?
Yeah, I saw, I read an interview with Daniel Lopatin, and he was talking about how he preps like OPN tracks to play live. And he says he makes like what he calls an idiot version of the studio recording.
Okay.
Nice.
Which is where like you divide your track into, you break it into stems like drum, bass, keys, whatever, and you just identify what are the things that absolutely have to happen. And like all the variations and stuff you can do live by, with a MIDI controller or whatever. But like, it's not about like painstakingly recreating the recording, because that is just like a thankless task. And the best way, if you want to recreate the recording, the best way is playback, is playing on a CDJ or playing on a laptop, like pressing play, which people do to great effect. But
as long as you're just having fun and presenting your music how you want people to hear it, like, I think there's merit in complicated setups, there's merit in simple setups. Like, as long as you're having fun and the audience is having fun,
all people want is to hear what they love loud.
On a big system.
But they want to see you enjoying yourself.
Yes, okay, that too.
Presenting
You're right.
music that you've made and that they want to hear. Yeah. So as long as you're having fun, the audience is having fun, then everyone wins, don't they?
Yeah. I'm having more fun behind CDJs than I ever was doing like laptop Ableton stuff, because I was like, oh, is my laptop gonna die? Like, is this scene gonna launch in the right place? Like, all this kind of headachy stuff. Like, I love working with computers in the studio. I kind of hate working with computers live. Like, you don't know what they're going to do. Like, they get too hot. The vibrations from the sub can do like stupid things to, it can start like your controller can start sort of registering vibrations from the sub as touches and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
it's just,
good point.
Massive headache. And
very good point.
Nobody wants to see like somebody looking panicked upstage. Like,
absolutely not.
Up on stage. What we're doing at the moment, like, we're playing. We're doing like a CDJ thing with vocals and like a little bit of
keys,
a little bit of synth work from those little Roland Boutique things, which is fun. I like using CDJ like mixer effects and stuff in like quite like a vaporwavy way, like pitching things down and making like out of time loops and stuff. I was at Flamingo Fest, like watching how Internet Club performed, using DJ software, but in a way which like no DJ would use it, like making these out of time loops and like doing very strange blends and like weird EQs and stuff. I was really inspired by that. I thought that was wicked, like abusing DJ software.
That's some iClick shit too.
I tried to like abuse CDJ.
Yeah, I like
shout out iClick.
Yeah.
Just some of the Roland boutique stuff on stage. I think that's great advice. It's just like the cheaper synthesizers. You bring cheaper synthesizers with you that are easier to gig with, and you don't worry about breaking. You know.
Yeah.
God bless Autograph for bringing all the stuff he brings.
Oh, like, dude, him and Hotel Pools with the gear, man.
But I mean, for the most part, I do think it's a great idea. Like, just bring cheaper things that you can play with.
Yeah,
it's okay if they get hurt in the set. You can afford to lose them. You know, you don't want to bring your SH-101 with you.
You don't want to be just lugging around. You don't want to be lugging around like heavy, massive gear constantly. Like those little boutique synths are like fantastic because they're like this big.
Oh yeah. I think Vapor uses one.
I got one.
Hot take.
I got one. Some good advice.
Oh no.
Spend a little. Don't spend loads of money, right? But just spend some money at the start on like proper like hard case for your just stuff to go in. So you're not bringing like 5 bags of shit with you. Bring in one like, little box and everything.
Already set up.
It's all set up. It's all velcroed down. Like as soon as I did that shit, that was such a game changer. Like you just rock up.
That's great advice.
Open the lid, plug that shit in, and it's done.
Yeah.
Oh, that
was like
advice.
fucking massive when we picked that up. Yeah. It's a game changer.
That's great advice. Just to have it all velcroed into a hard case, so all you do is unsheath it, and it's like it's ready. That's really good. That's really good advice, actually, for everybody to set up in advance. And I love that idea of just velcroing it all in. It's ready to go. Unplug it.
Yeah,
you're good.
Fellas, it's time for our top of the hour break. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we got a very special message that we're going to run from a Mr. Groovy Kaiju. Give everybody a chance to take a break, get a drink, take a piss, or check out these recommendations thanks to friend of the show, Groovy Kaiju. We'll be back after these messages.
Kaiju here, do a little thing for Young Shiro and Hot Takes. Gonna talk about 3 of my favorite albums, I think they said on Discord. Give a quick little hot take. But I guess we'll do the albums first. So yeah, album number 1 that I really love, Sex Line by iClick. When it, thankfully I get to be friends with Nrail and Will of iClick. And like, I remember when they were making the album at first, they played a few songs live early and they sent me the whole thing early because I was such a huge fan. And I just double checked. I have like 3 copies of it on tape, and I've gotten my partner into the album, and she became iClick's number 1 listener because it's such a good album. I love the R&B vibes, and I love how much it plays with rhythm and how there's so many moments in which you think something should happen, but it subverts all your expectations, but it still sounds really good. And I think it's a really fresh take on like R&B and like reviving lots of things that mean a lot to me, whether they had that influence or not. But I don't know. I convey a lot of my own feeling and like personal experience on that album, so it means a lot to me. Second is probably To Hell With It with Pink Pantheress. Absolutely love Pink Pantheress. She was my top artist on Spotify this year. But what To Hell With It really showed, especially because they just dropped a new album, Heaven Knows, is that I found it really beautiful about how the sampling she did on there isn't anything complex. She didn't really do too much that was new, but yet because it was so unequivocally her, that's what makes the album really good, is that it's just extremely authentic and to them as an artist, on top of the music just actually being good. But really, to me, it showed that you don't need to have like some huge production, like, oh, I'm like able to use my Logic and bounce it to MIDI you don't need any of that. Like if you just make truly authentic music to you and put that out there to the world, people will connect with that because people want to connect with other people at the end of the day. And I think that's why I love the album. And on top of that, it's just a good album. It's just like, reasons of life, I don't know. And it got me really into drum and bass and jungle and like liquid. So thank you. And then last album, probably I'm going to shout out Ways of Knowing by Navy Blue. It's probably my favorite hip hop record as of recently. It's extremely reflective, extremely vulnerable, and it has bars. So I'd highly recommend that album. I got to see Navy Blue live, and it was a really wild show experience. Lots of very emotional moments, which was very interesting for a hip hop show out of everything, where lots of people even started crying. But I don't know, it was just a really cool experience. Amazing album. Every song I really like. And yeah, so highly recommend that, especially if you're into that more backpack rap, headphone rap. If you don't get haircuts like me, then you're gonna love Boys Know It. Like Navy Blue. But yeah, and then lastly, a hot take. All right, I had to think of a hot take because I didn't have one in mind when I pressed record. But now that I have it, my hot take is music only needs to be good enough. And what I'm trying to say by that is that I wouldn't, if you're someone who listens to music, or especially someone who makes music, I wouldn't spend too much time analyzing, oh, well, the mix does this, or oh, these drums happen to have this one hit right here, and therefore it makes it better than other music. Personally, I don't think that's what makes music valuable, and that's not what makes it good. I think what really makes it good is the fact that it truly came from a vulnerable part of yourself, because at the end of the day, people want to connect with other people, and music is a way for people to do that. So the more authentically human you are, the more people are going to connect with it, and the more, not necessarily successful, but I think the more valuable, or the more people will get out of your music. So I think if you're spending more time on making the perfect mix over what does this music mean to me, and what part of me am I expressing through here, then I think you're doing something wrong. And if you're analyzing music that way, I think you're analyzing it wrong. Maybe not necessarily wrong, but not in a way that I would do it. Couldn't be me, as a buddy of mine would say. But yeah, anyways, catch you around. Hope you enjoyed the hot take. Hope you liked the album recommendations. And yeah, catch you around. Bye.
All right, and we are back, fellas, with some Donor Lens ASMR. Just kidding. Hello. We're turning Jay up a little bit, and it has come to my attention that the video for me is out of sync with the audio. So, well, we'll fix it next time.
Yeah.
But hey, we've hit the second hour of hot takes. Almost everybody is still here, and now is the time for you to ask the questions that you want to ask these two gentlemen right here. Every question, with some exceptions, but almost every question gets asked. So blow it up. I'm going to go ahead and start. Well, actually, no. Quiz wants you to talk about, I believe it's pronounced Drexciya.
Drexciya.
Quiz wants you to talk about
Drexciya. So the weirdest thing is they've got a track called Anti-Vapor Vaporwaves, which came out a long time ago.
Whoa.
And that's we talk about weird kind of precursors to vaporwave as a sound and a movement, but they just kind of accidentally hit on the name, when they were making Detroit techno tunes.
Love Detroit techno.
A few decades before it actually happened. Yeah, it's really cool. I think the other thing that's cool is I like music that's conceptual, that tells a story, and I really like electronic music that tells a story. So growing up as a kid, my favorite band was Kraftwerk, and I think each album they did built their own little world, and it's okay, Radioactivity is about nuclear stuff, and it's about radio waves, and Autobahn is about driving, blah blah blah. And so Drexciya build this world which is really fascinating, this kind of futuristic world. I mean, it's an Afrofuturistic thing which I can only relate to as far as I can, because they have a very profound sort of African American experience, and I'm a white British guy. The origin story for Drexciya is a really sad one. It's about slaves on slaving ships who jumped into the sea to escape a life of slavery, and the kind of Afrofuturist narrative around them is that they kind of built this kind of sci-fi utopia or whatever where they weren't in servitude, which is it's fucking cool, but what do I know about that? But yeah, they're just fascinating, and their tunes bang, and they were using and abusing technology in a really interesting way. So yeah, shout out Drexciya.
Wow.
Shout out Drexciya. KJ Valium wants to know if you're a fan of the orb.
Yeah, I don't know a huge amount about the orb, but like so they but they had that tune little fluffy clouds. Kind of weirdly sounds like a lot of like George Clanton-y kind of stuff, like these baggy beats, like these kind of slow down break beats and kind of woozy things. It's a really cool tune. It's like really, I used to listen to a load of stuff like that, like the Orb and Lemon Jelly and stuff like this kind of Mr. Scruff, like yeah, like really like sampledelic British electronic music that was like album orientated, which is like weirdly what we do, you know, like most electronic music is kind of singles oriented, but like these guys were making albums and crossed over with a rock audience. So yeah, like stuff like the Orb and actually Orbital, maybe more than the Orb.
Nice.
Orbital, like
yeah, like all that stuff is like weirdly influential on what we do now.
It's funny you mention concept albums. I was actually literally about to ask you guys if y'all are like album listeners or more like shuffle button people.
You guys make pretty serious thematic albums, you know what I mean? That's an interesting question.
So for your personal life, what do you guys
we grew
like?
up on albums, right?
Yeah. I mean, definitely grew up on albums. Like, I just
we had time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I used to cherish buying CDs. I mean, tapes, even when I was really little. I used to cherish buying the album and just like going. Like, I used to spend so much time just like sitting with my portable CD player, like listening to albums, like top to tail, getting the J card out with all the liner notes and the lyrics and stuff like that, and just like experiencing the album from beginning to end. And I do that quite a lot. Not necessarily personally, not necessarily with like new stuff as much. Like I like to try and do it as much as I can, but as Tom said, it's like a time thing as well, right? It's like, but like with older albums, like there's some stuff that you listen to that I feel like you have to listen to from the beginning to the end. Like there's, you know, you can't just dip in and out.
But
I mean,
we've both got kids now, so it's like the idea of like sitting down and listening to an album from start to finish and like reading the liner notes whilst like as a kid like who needs their diaper changed or like needs feeding and stuff it's like just about the most self-indulgent thing you could do as a dad. So those opportunities are few and far between. We do it a lot for work, right? Or like work, which is like in the context of My Pet Flamingo stuff, or Futuresounds, which is our podcast and our like our website, our blog, whatever.
Live events.
And our live event series. So like obviously we listen to full albums that our friends are putting out, but it's harder to listen to full albums that are, you know, just like buzzy albums that people are talking about. Harder.
Try and do it as much as possible though.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Can I ask you just a really quick question since we're talking about albums?
No, it's my hour.
Just really quick. You know, there's pretty distinct art direction for the Donor Lens albums as well. Who's in charge of the art direction for the Donor Lens albums? What do you guys design that? Who designs it for you again? And who's designing all just the layout in general for everything?
It massively depends, doesn't it? I'm glad you think it's consistent because actually there's a load of people involved. So like just going through it quickly, Miracle Lounge, we worked with an artist who's a Spanish artist called Victor Arce, who also did the Flamingo Funk album, and I think did some art for Floor Baba as well. Shout out Floor Baba. And then the Midnight Store was with Tropical Virtual, which is amazing. I think he said he put about 100 man hours into rendering.
You can see it if you look at our Flamingo Fest URL set. At the very start of it, he does this thing where he did the visuals for that set for us, and he does this thing where he zooms into the earth, and then it goes down into where the Midnight Store actually is in Cardiff, right? And then it shows really quickly like the
wireframe and like
like it like builds the shop in 3D, and it's like he actually used the
screen record of him building it.
The screen record of him building the Midnight.
Jesus, y'all should link that if it's not super inconvenient.
It's just nuts.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, get in the Twitch. But yeah, and then the area artwork was an artist called Theo Woodward, who's like an experimental New York artist. So like our albums all have different visual artists, but we've got quite a clear concept of what we want. Most of our singles are actually done by Jay's partner, who makes art under the name Kira Pixie, and she also sings on a couple of our tracks as well.
Really? Okay.
Oh hell yeah!
I know that. I know the handle. Yeah.
So yeah, shout out Kira. Yeah, so she does all our single artwork now, and yeah, she's like mad talented.
Okay, thank you for clearing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and your like Photoshop skills extend to like definitely like. Well, you've done some of the single artwork yourself, and like the layout and stuff.
Yeah, so like I did the I wanna layout and that kind of stuff, and Mirror Mirage artwork. I did that.
Yeah, the track with Eulalie has got like a really cool like kind of rave poster / like almost like Barber Beats aesthetic, and Jay did that.
Oh yeah,
that's
that's beautiful work.
Love that song, by the way. Love that song.
Ah, thank you.
That's one of the awesome. She's awesome in general too. She's a good friend of mine as well. She's awesome.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if she blew up. I think like
she's so nice as well.
Yeah, she's
like I know it's you know, like maybe not the most elegant comparison because she's a Japanese artist and my comparison's a Korean artist, but like what she does isn't a million miles off what Yeji does. This kind of ASMR kind of lo-fi house thing, and like Yeji is like fucking blown up, and I don't see any reason why Eulalie couldn't.
I'd love to get her on the show if that was possible.
yeah, she would definitely be.
She's like underconfident with her English.
That's the only thing I think that would hold us back. Is I don't know. I mean, I talk to her online pretty frequently, but I don't know how she would be in the show. Comfortable she'd be doing. Yeah, do an interview, but she's awesome.
I think it's her English is really good, but I think she's a little bit. I mean, this kind of.
There have been a lot of people I've wanted to bring on the show that are like English is their second language, and I understand. I would be very uncomfortable, so I get it.
Yeah, man, I totally get it. All right.
Yeah. We got a backlog of questions I want to roll through.
Let's get back to the questions. I think I took up too much. I just wanted to know a little bit more about I wanted to know a little bit more about the artwork.
It was a good question.
I derailed us.
So,
let's get back to
Encarta 95 is the snare on the track Distant, Roland TR 505, 707, or a secret third thing?
Wow, I don't even know. I know that
shit. I didn't realize it's gonna get that like technical.
I think it might be a 707. Like I use those like early, like the kind of more unfavored Roland drum machine sounds. I do use in Ableton quite a lot. I really like 606, and I like the 707 sounds and the 727 sounds, which are like the Latin percussion drum machine sounds. I do like those. I think it might be a 707, but there's like a layer as well. Like I think there's like a Pat Metheny sample in there, and there's a George Duke sample in there, and then there's like loads of like public information films and stuff. And there's
that was me.
Yeah, and the main like vocal and stuff is from like a Mike Oldfield tune as well.
The piano line in that I was like it's very heavily inspired by the Wii Sports theme.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Rose Corp.
Yeah, I think it might be 707 or 505 is that kind of thing, like a kind of shitty Roland drum sound, and it's like very pitched down. Also, we ran it through something called Lossy, which is a plugin that's supposed to sound like low bitrate MP3.
Oh no way!
And,
so like
and it's supposed to sound like this,
64 kbps.
A Discord call
type beat.
Cool, yeah.
That's the fun little thing to use these days. I have that as well.
Oh wild! I'm actually going to do Roge's question later. Limerence asked
and make
earlier,
a guitar pedal of it now.
Oh really? Well, that's got to sound crazy.
Limerence wants to know how it was working with Darian Shields, because apparently he recently moved to Portland and has been Limerence's first Vapor interaction. Says he's pretty incredible dude.
He seems like a great guy.
That collaboration was really cool. So like I think there was like a mad scramble. I think either you were about to have a kid or I was about to have a kid. Like we've both got boys who were born at similar times, and like we had this like Darian had asked us to do something, and like it was getting like embarrassing, like that we hadn't like fulfilled our end of the bargain. And I think like we just kind of we're working in like a kind of mad frenzy as like fatherhood approached. But there's like kind of cool like squeaky sounds in that, and can't remember what the Aphex Twin song is. There's like a famous Aphex Twin song where like it's got this sound which sounds like somebody dragging a chair across the floor. Like there are YouTube videos of people doing covers of it where they just.
I love that song.
Yeah. It's Alberto Balsam. Yeah, named after hair gel, isn't it? Well, it's like Alberto Balsam's like a shitty brand of hair gel that you.
That's such a phenomenal song.
It would sell it in midnight stores. Yeah, it's like
I've never heard of that. Like the hair product.
Yeah, it's like a really really bad like crispy hair gel. But yeah, anyway,
no way.
The Darren Shields thing. I think like it kind of ended up in that kind of vein of.
You with us, fellas?
Yeah. Did we lose them?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Nope. Hello?
Nope,
they're here.
Wait, yeah. Did you lose us?
No,
we're here for a half a second.
Just a half a second. You're back. Boys are frozen again.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Okay.
No, they're back.
Okay. All right. You can still hear us?
Yes. And see you.
We're good. Go for it.
Okay. Yeah. So I think like just approaching that kind of Aphex Twin mindset of like having some really pretty stuff and some more abrasive stuff. That was kind of the thinking.
I like that. Like that juxtaposition. Roche Corp asked
loads
earlier,
of IDM does it.
That is very true. Yeah. Good point. Roche Corp wants to know if you guys have any 2024 plans y'all can talk about aside from the album. Would love to hear from Jay first, and then Thom. If we might see you in the States again this year.
Oh.
I mean, apart from the album, I mean we've got a single from the album coming out on
last Friday of January.
Yeah, January 26th. So that's the last single from the album.
January 26th.
And then we've got the album in March. We've got a couple of shows and stuff in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'd love to come back to the States. I mean,
yes.
We can't talk about any like Flamingo Fest or any of that kind of stuff. But if anyone wants to book us to come to the States, like,
we'll come.
Yeah, we'll come. You know,
I'll keep that in mind.
But I think we're gonna put out some vaporwave.
Yeah. We've got the classic vaporwave records. We've got like a couple of collab things like in the pipelines as well.
I think also so this year, towards the end of this year, will be like 5 years of us doing this. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna it'll be in the UK, but like we'll do a show, like a special show with like guests and maybe like put together a live band again. Like we did for this live at Pink Bird kind of record that we did, like the full live band thing. I think we'll give that another go.
You guys can run those questions up in chat. While y'all do that, I want to know if you guys want to like tell us about how you feel about how Flamingo Fest went. Any highlights or just thoughts about the experience? Maybe starting with Thom this time.
I've chatted enough. It was amazing. Like it was such a surreal weekend/week. It was just like being in LA as well, which is like we were saying to each other constantly like this isn't a serious place. Like this is a silly place. Like we're used to like cities kind of being a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, like being walkable, being public transportable.
Real true.
And like
real
LA
nice,
is not that.
Real.
But like I think we took a couple of days to get into it, and then like I think like the thing that it clicked when we went to Venice Beach to meet up with like Indie and Runners Club and that lot and stuff, and it was just like really beautiful, and we saw a sunset and stuff. It like looked like a Hiroshi Nagai painting, like this sunset on Venice Beach, and we were like, okay, yeah, this is cool. And then you know the 2 days of music happened, and it was really cool. And you know, it's sort of like felt a little bit like we're kind of cosplaying with our like small little projects that we've kind of taken over to the States, but like you know, we had like it's a small audience that we were playing to, but like they were well into it, and it sort of it felt really special. Like it's just like something that I'm never gonna forget, basically. Like even if that's the only time we ever do it, but like hopefully it is something that we get to do once or twice a year. Yeah, in terms of other acts we saw, like I mentioned Internet Club already, seeing like iClick doing their thing, like even without Nathan, who was unwell, like that was cool. Seeing Groove Remote doing his thing, like kicking things off.
Groove Remote was badass.
Like, that was fucking cool.
Yeah, love that guy.
Yeah, man. Just enjoyed the whole thing, and yeah, as I said, it took a couple of days to warm up into it, but then like I was really sad to leave by the end of it. I don't know about you, Jay. Like, do you remember? Do you have any highlights of the thing? I mean, Jay was more involved in the organisation as well. So
it was like. I'm trying to think for a second, like how to explain what I'm trying to say. It's like sort of months and months of work and like kind of stress and, you know, worry and then kind of all the way up until we were there kind of thing. And then there was this kind of feeling of kind of, you know, okay, it's actually like, you know, kind of made it work. And then
it was Lux's set where you felt that the most, right?
That was
just like observing that from the balcony, right? Like there's nothing we can do now. It's up and running, and like this is it, and it's fantastic, right?
Yeah, like I think like the first kind of moment where I kind of thought this is it, and I was like when they went to the like barbecue thing, and there was like a little meet up with the artists and stuff, and it was just like seeing like not everyone, but like lots of people just in one space, just like together, and it was like, okay, this is really happening. And then we had the Friday, which was like hard work for us too, because we ended up running the sound. Yeah. We ended up running the sound, which was
I saw that was pretty funny.
Yikes!
That was like just like
funny for you,
but like yeah, we kind of I mean, it was loads of fun. I mean, it was stressful, but it was lots of fun. And then yeah, the Saturday was just like, again, it was, you know, these things are crazy and stressful and stuff. But yeah, it's like you were just saying, like I had a real moment of sort of, this is, you know, wow, this is really happening right now, which is when we were kind of watching Lux's set from on top of the balcony and just looking out, like loads of people, and everyone was dancing and having a good time, and it was kind of like, this is, you know, it's happened, you know, we've done it, basically, that kind of thing. And yeah, like I mean, I really hope that we can do it again.
Absolutely.
It's just, you know, we need to just see what happens, basically.
We await with bated breath. And while we do so, we've got a load of questions to catch up on.
Yeah, a bunch of questions to catch
Roge
up on.
Corp wants to know if you guys had any highlights from the Econ weekend you want to talk about as well.
Jesus. I mean, that feels like that was like about like 5 years ago, honestly. Yeah. When was that?
That was so much fun.
The obvious answer is watching Data Girl playing like a tune that we'd finished like, or like she'd finished her vocals on it like a matter of days or maybe weeks.
Maybe like 1 week, 2 weeks before.
That first day was so fire.
And Tom was next to me whilst we were.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, but like Tom was like in my ear, like oh yeah, I need to
EQ the snare.
It's EQ the snare better and this kind of stuff, and I was just kind of like, dude, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it, man.
Oh man.
No, I was joking.
You did tweak it though, did you, or did you not tweak it?
Yeah, of course I did. Of course I did.
He changed it after the fact. Come on.
Yeah, that's like the obvious thing. Yeah. Of course. The album's not out yet. I could still tweak it.
That is true.
Just, I mean, like selfishly, like hearing a song that we was like being performed on that stage as part of Econ was really cool. But like we're just like proud of her and proud of Nathan.
Yeah, dude. I was literally gonna say when Nathan played Linkin Park. What? I literally can't remember what Linkin Park.
I think it was One Step Closer.
Or something. Yeah.
Like in its entirety, the most vaporwave moment of the entire weekend.
Yeah, it just absolutely fucking popped as well. Though everyone was just going fucking crazy. Like, Yeah, that was a good moment. That was fun.
That was cool.
Day one was so fire.
Econ was like it was quite like a slick, like professional econ, wasn't it? But it was really cool to see act at our level, or like like a rung above us or whatever, but like within touching distance of us, like getting to do their thing on the econ stage was really cool. And then like it was cool seeing like these like super professional acts, or like like big name acts, like seeing James Ferraro doing his thing or whatever like that. That was fucking cool.
It's a great weekend. Roge Corp. Wait a minute. No, that was Roge's question. I'm sorry. Quiz. What aspects do you think resulted in Midnight Store being your biggest album and Turn the Fridge On your biggest single?
Fuck knows, man.
I don't know. I thought I'd ruin Turn the Fridge On. So like running through Turn the Fridge On, like I was kind of saying, like the final process, like we often do, is kind of add like extra field recordings and samples and stuff, just to kind of give some more kind of depth and life to these to these tracks. And like on Turn the Fridge On, throughout the whole thing, there's quite a loud field recording of like a shopkeeper like listing his stock, and he's like describing the beers and like saying how much they cost. It's like a British Indian like voice, and he's saying like Stella Artois £3, Heineken £4, like, and it's running throughout the whole track, and like it's fucking loud, man. Like why did I put that sample so loud? And it's just like blasting over the whole thing. I thought I'd ruined it, but yeah, it's our biggest song by like a million miles. So what do we know?
You never know what's gonna pop, do you?
No. Yeah, it's like algorithm.
People in chat literally saying it's their favorite part of the song. I mean, it's like that famous sample. Listen, I've told you once, I've told you twice. You're not on the list, and it's going to get used like forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your name's not on the list. You're not coming in.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we thought that track was just like a little sort of like interlude-y sort of just like.
Yeah, it's just like a mad thing. I think that I can explain better why Midnight Store is successful, which is that like it's like a universal concept, like this kind of late night shopping thing, and like so like it's a really British album. We made it to be a really British album, but you can extrapolate it on to like US shopping habits, and like when we were in LA, we went to Target like repeatedly, and like Target is like
Target.
Hello Kitty Target.
Shout out Target.
It's like a cathedral. Yeah, like
Target.
Exactly.
Target is like that's like a Dayon song title.
Mm-hmm. But what was it? Limo was saying that he takes dates to Target.
Oh my god! Did you guys go to the bodegas in New York City?
Yeah.
We had one literally opposite, like from
Tape Swap.
Yeah. No, from literally from where we were staying at the Econ 4, we had a bodega literally across the street, so we were going in there like upstairs.
Yeah, and that's like a US Midnight Store, right? Like like we've got like
much,
we call them like off licenses or offies, but so it's
they don't make sandwiches though in the UK, or like you can't go into one and
buy a bagel.
You can't get a chicken over rice or a chopped cheese.
You can get like a pre-made sandwich which like no one touches because they just look
But yeah, like I think it's like a universal thing, like these kind of shops which are like essential when you're out and you kind of need a late night pick up, but like they're also kind of sketchy places, and they're kind of weird, and they're time warps, and there's kind of eccentricities about them, like like the bodega might have a cat,
or they like sell like it probably isn't. They sell like Twinkies, but next to the Twinkies, they're also selling like motor oil, like for some reason, like that's also
exactly. The Midnight Store was like that, wasn't it? Like it would sell.
That's why I was thinking about it.
We need to take them to Omega Mart.
Omega Mart would be great. I would love to take them to Omega Mart, the Meow Wolf place. But yeah, no, I mean like that's what it's like. Also, as you mentioned, like in the bodegas in New York, there's just these you can buy everything there from like I don't know replacement mops to like ramen noodles.
Yeah, and I think like the Japanese thing as well, like the kind of konbinis, like one of the tracks is called My Konbini, and like obviously the Japanese kind of convenience store experience is like more hygienic and like better organized, and like there's more kind of care and like higher food standards and stuff, but like that, all of those are like interesting angles to explore, like, you know, just 24-hour shopping and consumerism and stuff, like those are like obvious like vaporwave themes, and I think like
you're so right about
struck
that.
upon the audience. Like Miracle Lounge was successful to an extent because it's about like travel and like
that's the real place too, by the way. Miracle Lounge.
It's in Bangkok Airport.
So people were shocked by the Midnight Store being a real place. Miracle Lounge is also a real place.
Yeah. It's an airport lounge in I think it's like
I haven't been there. He has.
I have. I went there on my honeymoon. It's like
I thought you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I still remember. I actually remember Miracle Lounge, the advertisement for that album in the Private Suite magazines, and I thought that was like one of the best advertisements for an album I'd ever seen. It's so fun the way it listed all the amenities in it and everything. I thought it was great. Who designed that? Who designed that advertisement? Actually, that was really good.
Not me.
Maybe you and Enzo. Yeah, it was like a kind of retro like airline advert, like a kind of Pan Am.
It was a really good advertisement.
I think that was you. Yeah. You don't remember it?
I don't remember doing that.
It was a long time ago, but I remember it was a very striking ad for the album, and it got me very interested in the album before I even knew who you guys were, really, or was too familiar yet.
That's really cool. Like obviously, I remember, like, like a buzz kind of happening. I think it was like an easier time for promo, like because algorithms now are so throttled. But like I remember being like so surprised that like people were excited about it from the off, weren't they? As an album, like we put it up for sale on Bandcamp, and people like knew what it was, and people were buying it and stuff. Like, maybe like it had the air of like industry plant. The hot take, Donovan's an industry plant.
Shit.
Yeah, it was really good.
But yeah, like I mean, I think I was like when we put it out, I think I might have been 29, 30, and like I've been making music my entire life, but like never found an audience. And like this was like the first project which like found an audience like very quickly, and I just remember finding that very surreal.
I think that's a good thing for people to keep in mind too, is that like you never know when you're going to do something that really connects.
Yeah, keep plugging away, man. You never know.
You never know.
Definitely.
You have your whole life to figure it out.
Definitely.
Lux wants to know, in the history of URL and IRL sets that y'all have done, what do you consider to be your favorites? URL favorite, IRL favorite?
IRL has got to be Flamingo Fest, surely.
I mean, yeah, IRL.
Easy, right?
I don't know. Yeah, either Flamingo Fest or the last Futuresounds.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, we did. The last show we did in London was really cool. So we were playing with Desert Sandfields Warm at Night and Vanitas and Zero, which was a wicked bill, and it was in a tiny venue, tiny, like maybe 60, 70 cap. Venue, and like that was really fun. No stage.
No
So,
stage.
like, it was like
a corner.
I know, like our music. Exactly, our music's like a long. Yeah, we were on the level, like just on the level with the crowd, you know, like a hardcore show, like a house party show.
Nice.
Like a day, like just like with his gear, like out on the stage with the crowd, with these like, you know, at the hipster house party. Like it was that kind of vibe. That was fun. I've got a strong IRL shout, which was we did a show for the Cat System Corp had organised called Explore the North, and we were sat on cross-legged on the floor in your like unfinished studio. We were like sat in dust, like cross-legged.
It was just like a barren room
with like a load of like small toys, like Chaos Pad. You had your Game Boy.
No, I was playing my Nintendo DS. Yeah,
nice.
Oh wow.
Had like an Ableton controller. Had like a load of cool guitar pedals and stuff. And we kind of did like an ambient set. And we were doing stuff like working like Arthur Russell cello samples and stuff into our tracks and stuff. Yeah, I remember that really fondly. I go back and watch that on YouTube sometimes, and like it was quite improv-y, like quite cool. But yeah, that's like about as hippie as we've ever.
Yeah, and I was just doing like
Chaos Pad noises. Yeah,
nice. Love to be on a fly on the wall for that.
Yeah, I think it was called Explore the North.
Shout out Cat System Corp.
Cat System Corp had like. Yeah, for sure. I think it was like a local arts festival when he was living in the Netherlands, because he's in Finland now.
I think it was called Explore the North. I think his thing was called Explore the Vapor. His part of the bigger show. think.
Yeah, that's it was one of the first things we did, and it's on YouTube. It's probably had like 60 views or something. Like it's like no one's seen it, but it's pretty cool.
My personal favorite, I fucking love doing that. That was so much fun.
I
mean,
bet
I
it
enjoy
was.
doing like I enjoy doing all of these, man. Like the URL stuff is fun. The IRL stuff is fun. Like I kind of feel like music is made to be performed. I mean, I know that doesn't apply for everyone, and like, you know, everyone should be able to create music for whatever purpose they want to. But like for me personally, it's like I just feel like music needs to be performed to like a crowd ideally. But these URL shows as well are like just so much fun. Just because like I was saying earlier about how we used to do just different formats for like every single show. It was like we just kind of meet up or even film independently, and we just pick like an entirely new set list each time.
Yeah, it's unsustainable, right? But it was
completely
fun.
unsustainable. But during COVID, like especially when like everyone was just trapped inside, like it was just like a real fucking fun thing to do.
Yeah, and the chats were funny, like people going boner lens.
Oh my god. Boner lens.
I think like probably.
Yeah. Mona Lens is new. We need to shout out Rob, who's like one of the
Lens.
Futuresounds contributors. So he came up with Mona Lens, which is really good, especially for hot takes. I don't think we've been too moany though. I think we're
No.
happy
This has
clappy.
been really good. We still have a lot of good questions too. We need to roll through. Lux also wants to know what your goals are for 2024. Doesn't matter if it's personal, related to Donor Lens, solo projects, MPF, Futuresounds, just goals.
Yeah, all of these things. Have our cake and eat it.
Right.
I don't know.
Have
fun.
I mean, we need to get this album out.
Yeah.
I want to put some vaporwave out.
That's not a fucking New Year's resolution though. That's just like
it just needs to happen. It's too late not to happen. I think like we're both sitting on like a shitload of solo music that needs to come out basically. Like I made an album under the name Love and Dust like 2 years ago, and it's got features from Winter Court and stuff like that.
That shit
like,
fucking bangs as well.
But like I talked to a label, and then like I don't know why never pulled the trigger on it, but like haven't. And I'm gonna do more stuff with Richard to LimeWire. You're gonna do stuff with Kid Neon. You've got like a secret project.
I've got a secret project, but we're not going to talk about that.
Iverson is the name of the 80s pop band that we play in. So Iverson are fucking wicked. So like they're associated with the synthwave scene. So we've both played like all the instruments in the band at various times, but I'm currently the drummer and you're currently the guitarist.
Wow.
And it's kind of the brainchild of this guy Josh Iverson and his collaborator Johnny Royal. So it's like another duo, and we're a duo that plugs into the duo.
Like a transformer kind of thing,
like you're subleasing from the original duo.
Yeah, that's what it is. But they're in the synthwave scene, but like their touchstones are like it's all vocal music, and it's like really strong songwriting, and the touchstones are more things like the Human League and Scritti Politti and I don't know, like Japan and Prefab Sprout and things like that. Yeah, like 80s British indie, good songwriting, 80s production, Blue Nile, that kind of thing. And it's really good. And yeah, we're going to be quite busy with that as well, I think.
Love it. Pacific Plaza, can Thom tell us about knowing the folks in the same circles as Noah the Whale and Laura Marling?
No. Okay. There's
No.
industry plant. Yeah, industry plant. Okay. So there's some stuff that I'm proud of, and there's some stuff that I'm less proud of. So my first like gig, I was like in what we call sixth form, which is like the last 2 years of high school, and
Hang on,
found myself.
you call it what? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sixth form.
Sixth form. It's like
some antiquated British bullshit, man.
Okay.
It's like the last 2 years of your
Sixth, the number
compulsory
6.
schooling. Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
sixth
It's like when you're like 17, 18.
Sorry.
Like when you're nearly done with school.
I'm
But anyway,
on the
I was
same-
like
Thank you.
I found myself playing drums. I was like the house drummer for like this like club basically. So I was underage, but like most of the performers were underage as well. It was like the kind of dying era of people like not caring about like ID checks and stuff. And there was like this kind of West London folk scene, and some of the artists were fantastic and some of them were awful. And I would just like bring my drum kit. I would sit on stage and all these like singer-songwriters would come through, the best of whom was Laura Marling, who's I think is fantastic. She's like a really, really good folk singer, kind of Joni Mitchell style. So I was playing for her at these kind of open mic things, but I also became her drummer. But like I also kind of got tangled up with like Noah and the Whale and Mumford and Sons and stuff like that, which I'm less proud of.
Stomp clap, hey.
Yeah, stomp clap. Yeah. Was it like cider adverts? Yeah.
Cider
yeah.
adverts.
But yeah, that's what I was playing drums for that kind of music for like a couple of years, and yeah. But yeah, shout out Laura Marling. She's fucking cool. The rest of them I can do without. But yeah, like it was cool though. Like I was like an underage kid, and we were playing like Glastonbury Festival and like touring the UK and stuff whilst I was still at school.
Jesus, that's cool.
So that was cool.
Your parents were cool, like anime parents that like just let you do whatever.
Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, well, my mum's a musician, so she was like well into it. Like, but yeah, it was mad though, because like I had a taste of success in my teens, and then like I left that stuff to go to university, like to go to college and study and stuff, and then like I kind of spent my whole 20s not finding the same level of success with musical projects, and then like when I was kind of approaching my 30s, like we started this and kind of got back on the horse. But yeah, like I kind of spent 10 years in a kind of wilderness, but like I was always making music and practicing and stuff, and I think maybe like you can hear some of that in Donor Lens, just like putting the hours in, you know.
Pacific Plaza is wondering if we're going to ask the shoegaze question, which I believe he wants us to know or ask if you guys are bigger fans of My Bloody Valentine or Slow Dive.
Oh, yeah. We missed the whole of that.
No, I got it.
Yeah,
sorry,
no, it's
so
okay.
we had some freezing, but it was My Bloody Valentine or Slow Dive, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Slow Dive, and I really like My Bloody Valentine, so MBV.
My Bloody Valentine. It is then.
Tom, same answer. I'm sorry, Jay. That was Tom that just answered.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I think we lost you guys again briefly. There you are. There you are. Are you an MBV guy as well?
We're still here.
Oh dear.
Damn. I mean, I can hear and see you guys.
Okay. I think we're just having some laggy bits.
Yeah.
Some laggies.
What's the answer to the question?
So Tom says MBV because he's not super familiar with Slow Dive. Want to know Jay's answer?
Yeah, we're still here.
What's Jay's answer? I heard Tom's answer.
What's your answer? Your answer was MBV as well.
Yeah.
MBV. All right, so
I don't know enough about
It's
music.
unanimous.
All right.
Something to check out.
No one says it's unanimous. Okay.
Oh, the signal's gone really bad, I think.
That's all right. We're almost done.
I mean, I hear and see you guys fine.
I hear you guys and see you fine.
You're frozen, but like I hear you.
We hear it. We hear you. That's good. That works.
Are you guys still on Twitter?
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's crack on.
Yep. Let's skip the Twitter question. That doesn't matter. Pacific Plaza. Do you think British people interpret vaporwave nostalgia differently than North Americans or people from other parts of the world? Damn. Okay.
Are we back in the game?
You dropped out, but you appear to be back.
You're back.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
There was a question. What is UK nostalgia different?
Yes,
to
is UK nostalgia you think different? And how do you interpret it through your British lens? Is what he said.
It is and it isn't.
UK nostalgia. What like full?
Oh man, we're having trouble here. I'm gonna try and answer, but yeah, like
Okay.
Some things universal. Like I think this kind of console nostalgia that people are having, that's a universal thing. Console
That's
nostalgia.
true.
Like
the Pizza Hotline thing.
For sure, the Pizza Hotline thing. But yeah, like I think like some of the music that I was talking about earlier, like this bassline stuff, T2 Heartbroken Song, that's not a tune that was popular in the States, and like we're like mad nostalgic for that. So yeah, there's some big differences.
I think the rave culture of Britain is that's a big nostalgia thing for you guys, and that's been seen in some of the albums that you put out. Like the side project, what's it called?
Oh yeah, the 3-piece suite side project is like very referential to
very
that.
British nostalgia to me. You know,
I think that's so cool.
So I imagine that plays a big role, you know, once again in British nostalgia, and you know that we in America are aware that's a big deal in Britain. It's not the quite same thing as having been part of the culture for it though.
Yeah, we're having big trouble with our internet over here.
We're making it work.
We can take. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, definitely. Like the kind of rave thing was massive. Like I think it's slightly secondhand through your big bro Enzo, who you run MPF with, because he was around for the kind of 90s stuff. We kind of participated a bit in the 2000s, 2010.
Yeah, I used to go to like squat parties and like warehouse raves and stuff like that when I was growing up. That kind of shit. I mean, that kind of shit is like massive in the UK. It kind of never really went away from the 90s. That just kind of carried on.
That's the reason there's so much dance music in our current sound, and that's like a thing that we have in common as well. And like also like other people who don't make like dance music as such, but who've like made sense of dance music, like Aphex Twin and Burial, like that kind of thing. Those are British guys who've taken rave sounds and kind of filtered them to kind of listening format rather than dancing format, album format rather than single format. That's yeah, I mean
that's like a top 3 for Skelly.
That's a top 3 for me, Burial. Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, we're not Burial, but like there's stuff on Midnight Store that's not a million miles off.
But still, you guys are creating ideas and sound textures and experiences in music.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's customary in the US to like go to the park when you're a kid and get pissed on like 2 liters of cider, but that's kind of a customary sort of UK thing as well. I don't know if you guys have that.
It's like wildly underage teenagers. Yeah, we're both parents now, and like I kind of dread the thought about having conversations with my own child. Like, don't do what I used to do, please.
Oh, that's funny. Puff and Bill
yeah, like I think people would have been there with their iPod Classic playing these kind of tunes. Like, yeah, we keep saying it, T2 Heartbroken.
Yeah, sitting at the back of the bus with the phone speaker against the window
on your Sony Ericsson mobile. Yeah.
Badass. Puff and Bill Grooves, what's your opinion on Queen and the Queen?
Oh wow, that's a good question. I mean, I love Queen band, and
we're both kind of anti-royalists.
Yeah, very much anti-royalists. It's fucking stupid.
Queen the band, I really like. Okay, this might lead into like a point of disagreement, right? So in I Want to Break Free, Brian May takes this funny like synth guitar solo, and it's on like the most like outre kind of stupid sound ever. It's like a synth kind of trumpet thing, but it's a guitar solo.
Yeah,
I really like that.
I like that too.
Okay, but similarly, I really like the Kate Bush Running Up the Hill keyboard sound, which you think is really stupid.
You don't like the like MIDI like horn sound?
It's classic. Yeah, it's a Fairlight sound, like a
I wouldn't call it MIDI, but
like a backward trailer.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but it just winds down. I don't know why.
Yeah, Skelly likes it.
I think everyone likes it.
It's so wild to me. Like when I was growing up and I was hearing synth sounds, like I knew they were not real instruments, and I was just like, oh, that's a like an electronic sound. Like now as an adult, I'm like, oh, that sound is supposed to represent a harmonica. That is a horn. That's a MIDI horn. That's a cowbell. Meanwhile, growing up, I was just like, it's just that, like, that's a synthesizer. It's its own instrument.
Yeah, for sure.
The first big synth sound that I ever heard that really resonated with me when I was a child was probably orchestral maneuvers in the dark. Boom, 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 boom. Take my breath away. Take my breath away synth.
Yeah.
Well, that's not OMD, is it?
Oh, it's not OMD. It's what's it called? It's who is it? Is it?
Damn, you just pulled
like
Shiro.
Belinda Carla? No, I don't know.
It's all. I'm gonna look it up right now. But I remember that being the first time I heard a synthesizer as a child. Like,
The big OMD song was Enola Gay, which has got like a really cool classic.
I'm sorry.
keyboard sound
I'm
as
sorry.
well,
That
kind
was
of.
written by Giorgio Moroder. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that was.
For a soundtrack, right? What film was it?
What's that? Song is written by Giorgio Moroder.
What soundtrack was it in?
It was on Top Gun. Oh, it's
What
Berlin.
film?
Berlin was the band. I'm sorry, Berlin. That was the band that did that song.
Bro, I remember my dad watching
Berlin
Chariots of
was the
Fire and listening to like the who does the Chariots of Fire theme?
Vangelis score.
Vangelis.
Vangelis.
And just
yeah.
of course it's like
Vangelis.
piano, but it also has like that like reverb heavy like drum. And you know, I just been like, I guess like I didn't know, you know, but something about it was like ethereal and special and a cut above the regular just acoustic instrumentation that I was accustomed to hearing.
Yeah, electronic soundtracks. So that's like a really cool moment in time.
Yeah, it really
Apparently
was.
they were
70s,
incredibly
80s
unpopular
scores
with
where
people.
they're not orchestral.
Yeah, there was a huge backlash from people that were used to like the orchestral soundtracks. They did not like the synthesizer at all.
Yeah.
For good reason, I guess.
Backlash from musicians as well. So like
Yeah, it's like John Carpenter suddenly just like being not needing an orchestra anymore and just making it all in one
the
keyboard.
director doing it himself.
Yeah.
Like so, loads of unionized musicians like hated the idea that like a drum machine and a synthesizer could put a brass and a string section out of work, and a drum machine could put a percussion section out of work. So like the unions were really powerful back then, and like they had like legitimate grievances because they were accustomed to steady, well-paid work, and they were getting put out of work by emerging technologies. Like it's their grievances like seem very quaint now, but like they were legitimate. But like
It kind of makes me wonder if like AI is kind of a similar thing, you know?
Yeah, dude, I was literally just about to say that.
It's the same kind of thing, but I think like synth technology, it's not designed to kind of. It's not as simple as it being like just emulating, replacing traditional instruments. It kind of it's become its own thing, hasn't it? But
yeah,
like,
whereas AI is literally like designed to like
It's definitely different,
not
right?
designed
Similar but different.
But yeah, like if you think about like disco music becoming house music, and it's like these guys couldn't afford like drummers and percussionists, so they're going to use like a 909, and they couldn't afford string sections and stuff, so they're going to use like a Juno or whatever. Like that really was using a device to kind of emulate the labor of like an entire section, but like the results are amazing, and it became its own thing. And like nobody thinks about house music as being like electronic disco anymore. Like you don't think like, oh, that's a disco string section, that's a disco brass section. It's like it's become its own thing. But like that is kind of how it started.
Yeah. All right.
We are 5 minutes from the deadline. So, what would
5 minutes from bedtime? It's nearly 2 o'clock in the morning here.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning?
I said
All right,
deadline,
let's do the
but
shout-outs.
you are the OG. You're the real ones for staying up so late.
Yeah, thank you guys very much.
Let me give you a minute to shout out or promote anything you want before we shut out the lights.
Shout out Jay's solo music, Kidney On.
Yeah, I got a new I got an edit of one of my older songs coming out on the 19th of January. I got a collab with someone coming out very soon, but that's save that because it's not been announced yet.
Shout out Iverson, the synthwave band, check them out. Shout out our album which is coming out spring.
No, shout out our single which is going out first, Drag and Drop Tools.
Oh yeah, okay, this is an exclusive. So the last single from the album before it actually comes out is called Drag and Drop Tools, and Tools spelled with a Z, a la Fire Tools. So it's like a little nod to Fire Tools, who's like a big inspiration for us.
Hell yeah, Fire Tools.
So yeah, there's a single coming out which is it's got like it's in quite like an alarming style for us, which is like very very fast trance.
Excited to hear
kind
that.
of like like thinking about like the kind of soundtrack to things like Wipeout and the like Extreme G racing games
Very
back in the
cool.
day, like really fast like racing music. So we're putting that out as like a final little thing before our album, and
then the album's coming out in March. What's the date in March? March the something.
Our album's coming
March
out.
the something.
Yeah, and just like shout out everybody who's watching this. Shout out people who listen to and buy our music, chiefly Sky Yamaha, who like religiously buys our releases.
Oh yeah, shout out Sky Yamaha.
Shout out Nano Shrine and Data Girl for getting married. That's cool.
Aw. All right.
Enzo.
Shout out Enzo from NPF.
Oh yeah,
Shout
check out
Martin.
Futuresounds, Flamingo,
Well, yeah.
Futuresounds, Donor Lens,
Yeah.
Iverson,
Shout out Vaporwave
Kid
News
Neon.
Network.
Vaporwave News Network.
Kira Pix, the artist.
Yeah, Kira Pix.
That's a lot of shout
We're
out.
just like shouting out people we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of shouts.
Sorry, to think of anyone else. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
everybody,
I hope we
check
haven't
out
just
Donor
rambled.
Lens.
Kind of feel like
Look out for that new single and buy their albums. And follow their side projects, of course. Love and Dust, and what was the other one, Tom?
Wichita LimeWire.
Wichita
That's my, like,
LimeWire.
full-on vaporwave
Thank you.
project.
And Kid Neon and Iverson and all the other good stuff. Check it all out. I don't have anything to talk about, Skelly. I've got nothing going on. Probably going to put a set together here pretty soon for maybe an upcoming Helios or Vapor Shave, if there's going to be one. But I just want to say a couple people in
There
chat.
is a Vapor Shave in March.
Yes, okay, good. I will be there. Quiz and Roche Corp both want you to know that they love you.
Oh, man.
And
We
so
love everyone as well.
yeah, I'm so glad we had you guys on. So yeah, I'm going to participate in Vapor Shave. Other than that, nothing. What's up, Skelly?
February 2nd is Eclipse, which is the Witch House Dance Party. I have a new song that's going to be on the... I think Dream Shore is putting out a Palestinian Free Palestine relief.
Oh yeah, Free Palestine.
I have a song that'll be out on that. New album's done. It's awesome. It's dark. I have to actually still do a photo for the cover art for it, so that'll be done when it's done. Hopefully soon. And then aside from that, oh yeah, can I ask you guys, how's the Vaporwave documentary going?
You can say
yeah. So it's basically we're like pretty much finished with the filming. There's like 1 or 2 interviews, and we've got a couple of audio only interviews. We've started to edit. We've been working like really hard transcribing all of the interviews, and that shit just takes fucking just hours, as you can imagine. You have to just listen. You have to listen through like every single take and just like,
oh my gosh,
make timestamps and like notes and everything. But we're the edits started basically.
Nice.
Nice.
We're trying to get it done as soon as we fucking can. Like the only thing I would say is like, I know it's taken a very long time.
Documentaries always take a long time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but can we also remember that we did have COVID and we couldn't start?
I mean, if anybody that's
really
actually
fucking long
mad
time.
can just calm down, like, it's going to be good. Like, I think it's funny that people joke about it, but like, it's going to be good. When it drops, you better believe I can't wait to see it.
Me too.
Nice, yeah. We think it's funny. Like the FunnyNet are like posting like good memes about it.
Yeah, it's funny.
That kind of thing's
shit,
fun.
That shit's funny. It's like I don't know. People just moan about it sometimes. It's like, it is what it is. Like we'd much rather people moan about it for a little while and then it comes out and it'd be good, rather than just fucking rushing it out. That's basically-
That's facts.
But it's not a cash grab. That's what. That's
It's
the
certainly
thing.
not
That's
a
annoying.
fucking cash grab. Like, we are just working for free at this point. Like, just yeah.
Well, damn, thank you for the
It's gonna happen.
411. You guys heard that shit on Hot
Appreciate it.
Takes.
You
We're
guys
going to
heard
have
on
to put a
Hot Takes. There you
premiere when it comes out. Thank you for much. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you very much for being here, Donor Lens, Tom J.
Thank
It was
you
a
guys.
pleasure. I know it's late. You guys need to go to sleep. But just want to thank you guys very much for your time and thank all of you that tuned in. Don't forget, you can follow us. You can check out our Discord. And you can check out our Spotify playlists if you like to listen to music curated by the artists we've had on the show. And if you feel moved, you can donate to us as well. We will catch y'all in a little over 2 weeks. Monday night, we're going back to Monday night, the 22nd at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to bring on Crystal Eternal, renowned musician, show thrower, and artist, the graphic artist, Crystal Eternal. That's going to be our last guest for the season, and then we're going to have to figure out a retrospective episode. And so, with that being said, we're going to raid Discoholic, and just thank you guys so much for being here. Hope you have an awesome night and get some sleep, and we'll see y'all in about 2.5 weeks. You heard it on Hot Takes.
Thank you. See everybody. Yeah.
What's a hot take? So I have a hot take for you. My hot take? Well, I think some artists need to put a little more energy in their live set. Overly complicated tracks are things that kind of ruin a track for me. Don't stick to any kind of genre label.
Future bass is the worst music genre ever created.
Barber Beats was the original vaporwave. Fuck General MIDI Choir. It's all bad.
Bruh.
Worst album artwork I've ever seen is Green Day's Father of All Motherfuckers, probably.
I find new music often, and I usually illegally download it.
Stuff that sounds good. Sampleless vaporwave is still vaporwave, buddy.
MIDI wave is a form of vaporwave. Deal with it.
Gen Z is the future of vaporwave. I said it. What is your musical guilty pleasure, Vapebearer?
It's gotta be K-pop.
If you don't like mint chocolate chip ice cream, you are a baby.
Music isn't real. I smell weed.
I'm Dan Mason. This is Vape Eric. This is FM Skyline.
This is Mesh.
Yo, this is Groovy Kaiju. This is Christ. You're listening to
Hot Takes.
That's the one.
Don't touch my records. Ever.